Last night, the New York Jets took Joe Tippmann, center out of Wisconsin, with the 43rd pick of the 2023 NFL Draft. So let's take a look at his All-22 together, and I'll show you what skill set Joe and his Wisconsin waterfall will bring to the New York Jets. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? It's Luke here from PLAJ, and last night the Jets made their second pick. We've got more All-22 to break down together, and it was Joe Tippmann, the center out of Wisconsin. Overall, it was not a surprising pick to me. I think the Jets were always hoping to bolster their interior offensive line talent, and Tippmann did just that. So let's take a look at his skill set here and what he's going to bring. I want to say I only had 2 games of All-22 to break down, so that's why you're only getting a look at this. It may not take a look at his entire skill set, but this is what I saw when I watched him on tape. So here you're going to see a snap in pass protection against Illinois, and they're bringing a double A-gap blitz. I'll let it play at full speed out of the center position. Number 75 does a really nice job in a ton of aspects with this pass pro rep. So let's break it down a little more. First thing you want to see is does a great job getting out of his stance, traveling well, and covering the ground. But what does he do with his hands? How are they tied to his feet? Tippmann does a fantastic job with his right hand. Take a look at the right hand side of his screen and his body. Does a great job getting that punch in tight, and he's just stonewalling and winning this rep. Right now, the blitzing linebacker has nowhere to go. So once he feels he's lost the initial rush, what does he do? He tries to rip through. But Tippmann does a great job staying engaged, but look at the base width now. He works that big, thick lower half through the block. He makes sure he sustains it, keeps working, and then once he's got in that position, finish it off and drive him backwards. One more time at full speed. This is as good as it gets from Tippmann. You're going to see him travel, do a great job with hand placement, match and mirror, and then drive and finish. Really, really nice rep against Illinois. Here's one against Ohio State, which was an up and down game for him on tape. In this instance, you're going to see him with a man straight over him, zero technique, rushing straight through his chest. What impresses me about this rep is initially his hands are wide, and that's something we'll talk about a little bit later, but Tippmann's hands fly wide, and look at the left-hand side of your screen. Tippmann's right hand ends up around the shoulder pad up high of number 6, the blitzer here. What does he do well, though? He repositions. He tucks that hand underneath, locks it in under the chest, and then look at the anchor, the ability to drop that lower half, to have a nice base width. He's in a powerful position, and his man is not getting anywhere near the quarterback. Again, let's watch this at full speed. That's a beautiful clean pocket. That's all you can ask from your center as a one-on-one rep. Does a really nice job repositioning his hands. He needs to be better getting those hands in a tight position quicker. And as I said, that's something we'll elaborate on a little bit later. But I like the repositioning. That's high-level stuff we saw out of JMS as well. Locks it in. Good base width. Really nice rep. Very, very clean pass pro. This one here, we're going to see a slide protection from the entirety of the Wisconsin line. Everyone's going to move to their right-hand side, left-hand side of your screen. Watch him travel here off the snap. Tippmann does a nice job. He's just easy covering ground, gets to his man easily. Again, locks that right hand in tight, gets to the chest, and then look at the finish. I like that from my interior offensive lineman. A guy who can travel, get the hand usage right, but then you want to see this. End with your man in the dirt, and Tippmann did a great job of it in this instance against Ohio State. Just all in all, a really good rep, very clean movement skills, and then you want to see that little bit of a dog out of your lineman, and I think he had a bit of that, especially in the running game, but it was good to see it against high caliber opposition here against Ohio State. But for me, this is where the hands kind of let Tippmann down, and we'll kind of move to the negatives now for him in pass pro. It is predominantly just that. The feet are really clean, but sometimes his hand usage is just a little wide, and that gives him some issues. So right here, you're going to see Tippmann against number 93. Automatically, that right hand does not find its punch. It's not in the right place. And look how he's feeling and grabbing, and it's outside the shoulder pad. Now he's standing up. He hasn't got good pad level. He's lost the leverage battle. And look how easy it is to rip back to the inside and get in the quarterback's lap. Why is Tippmann finding himself in this position right here? It's because of where it starts with the hand placements. Watch really carefully how his hands parachute wide. You don't want to see your linemen having their hands in this position, giving up their chest, because as you can see, 93 has a clear laneway straight inside, and that hand goes automatically on the shoulder pad, goes to the outside. It's got nowhere to go, nowhere to reposition, and as a result, easy to rip through and beat him to the inside shoulder. I didn't love that aspect, and I saw it a little bit more than I would have liked on tape. Another one here from the same game against Illinois, and Very similar, better recovery skills. This isn't a terrible rep. This is just showing you that there are some issues. I like the torque and the midsection control here and his ability to absorb contact almost like a wrestler. But the reason we're finding ourselves in this position, getting marched back towards the quarterback, is once again how it starts. It's all about the hand placement. Left hand goes outside and wide, gives you an opportunity to rip through, has to match and mirror, and does an okay job of it. This is a pretty good emergency recovery skills, nice movement, the ability to kind of match and mirror when you're under the pump and have not put yourself in a good position. But I don't want to see him in that spot against a middling defensive line prospect, I should say, too often, and that's what we've just seen on back-to-back reps there. The other little negative I saw when I watched Tippmann on tape was his inability to pick up stunts sometimes because he got a little bit involved with the lead rusher and then didn't have the vision to pick him up. Watch it at full speed, it'll give you the perfect example of what I'm talking about. This is a difficult one for him to pick up. I will, give him some slack and cut him some slack here. But you can see he does a nice job moving as he always does, gets to 93, but straight away you can tell very obviously that number 4 is looping to the inside. As soon as he stands upright, you know he's not threatening with a bull rush to his outside man. He's going to come back and knife back towards the quarterback and into to Tippmann's zone, but he just gets overly involved, carries him probably a step too far, and then just doesn't quite have the redirection and change of direction skills to get back out to his man. See a very similar thing here from the same game. This time he's going to be moving to his right-hand side. This is a bigger blown assignment for me. You can tell straight away that this man is not trying to get to the quarterback. He is trying to take up as many offensive linemen's eyes as he can and open up for the looper coming back to the inside. Look, again, Tippmann, he doesn't need to take that step and punch because look at the position he's in right now, even though he's very clearly running a lead for a stunt, gets overly involved, puts himself in a bad position, and right now we're scrambling. And look, he does an okay job here, getting that left foot clearing out, flipping those hips, and, he's in recovery mode right now. And again, I like the athleticism, the ability to do that. This is fantastic. You want your guys to scramble and to be able to save the day. But I don't want him in this position very often with that man looping back to the inside and he's still getting his quarterback hit. We don't want to get Aaron Rodgers hit, and that's what we saw a little too often on the stunts. I think he needs to do a better job with his eyes, reading what the defensive tackle's trying to do. That was a bit of an issue. Now let's get back into the fun stuff and take a look at his run blocking, because that's where Tippmann really shone, and in particular it was the zone blocking scheme, and that's why he's a good fit here. I comped him to Mitch Morse, who's been in Buffalo and has those good movement skills, but is a taller center, and you're going to see that showcased. When he is asked to be a pulling guard in these pin pull actions and get out in space and some of the zone movement skills, he is just phenomenal. This is a fantastic rep against Ohio State. Look how he gets out of his stance, fires across the line of scrimmage, sees his man in target, and he just throws him to the ground. It's far too easy. Look, I understand this is a DB, this is a play he should be making, but the movement skills in space are impressive. Look how he slows his feet down into contact so he doesn't miss his target, gets tight hands, and then drive your legs through and just throw him to the floor. It's a huge mismatch of probably 100 pounds, but a really nice job in space there from Joe Tippmann. This is where he really excelled for me, and I'm sure this is going to excite Hackett and the Jets coaching staff and getting him in this scheme. A really nice one here, moving to his right again. Very natural in these pin pull looks. I said it just then. Look how he hits his target, understands who he's getting to in space, tries to turn out of it here, does the second level defender, but he keeps that tight right hand, then turns him. Great hip flip and fluidity in space, the ability to move your hips to seal, open up the lane. And that's a really nice job. It isn't a huge gain here for Wisconsin, but really nice movement skills, good execution, good hip flip, all the things that I want to see in a zone run blocking scheme. And Tippmann ticked all of those boxes here. Really good in these out in space pin pull type concepts. And I think the Jets will run lots of those with guys like Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera-Tucker. This time a little bit more of a traditional, combo block and climb, but the defensive tackle here in the one tech spot actually kind of does his job for him. He jumps hard to the outside. You can see Tippmann look to help and kind of force him to the left guard. He doesn't need to. What I like here are the eyes climbing to the second level. He's got his eyes here on the right-hand side of the screen here to the left side linebacker, but he sees my right tackle's got him. So look at the adjustment in space, the athleticism to turn his hips, flip his head, find his target, hit it, Now look, this doesn't look the prettiest because his legs get taken out of him by the other linebacker and block here. He can't do anything about that, can Tippmann. But you can see the movement in space, the ability to stay sustained to that block even though he's lost his legs to drive through it. As I said, doesn't look the best, but it's a fantastic rep from Joe Tippmann. You love the way he has the vision, the ability to hit his target. He's fluid, just a really great run blocker. He was the 11th best interior offensive lineman when it came to zone run blocking according to PFF in the entirety of college football in 2022, and it's not difficult to see why. So that's a little introduction to Joe Tippmann. I think he's got a really nice skill set. I think he's going to develop. He only gave up 1 sack. I just wanted to show you little technique-based things that I think he can improve on, because I don't want to sit here and say everything's perfect. He has deficiencies, and that's why he's a second-round player. But he can be a long-term starter for the Jets at center. He has more than enough 1v1 pass pro skills. He's a good help blocker. He'll look for work, and you saw those zone run blocking skills. Nice player, good fit, good value. That's Joe Tippmann.